paper writing for international contests and conferences. My name is Augustine Anansi, and I've been given the honor to serve as the moderator for this important session. Today's topic is going to be an interesting one, as most of us are already eager to know more about SPE paper contest. We are very privileged to have with us two distinguished speakers who are going to provide us with all that we need to know about SPE contests and conferences. Before I introduce the speakers for today, I would urge us all to mute our microphones as we follow along. After the presentation by the speakers, I'll give room for questions and answer session. So please do not put down your relevant questions so that we'll be able to ask them at the appropriate time. Now on to our speakers. I want you all to join me in welcoming Inshaba Parkwesi. He's a process engineer at Modec Production Services, Ghana JV Limited. And he happens to be the winner of the 2024 SPE African Regional Datathon. We also have with us Lai Eje Nisoa. He's a petroleum engineering graduate at K University and a co-founder of DB Solutions, which is a software that solves complex petroleum engineering problems. Early this year, Lai Eje Nisoa represented SPE Ghana in the SPE paper contest at Bayero University in Nigeria. Obviously, if you can hear me very well, please begin the presentation for us.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Thanks, Augustine. Can you please confirm if you can hear me?
Yes, please. You are very clear.
Okay. Excellent. I'll go ahead and share my screen now. Just a second. Could you please confirm if you can see my screen? Sorry about that.
Yes, you can see your screen.
Okay. Okay, good evening, everyone, once again. We are truly honored to be here to share insights on the subjects that can shape your academic and professional journey. That is the technical paper writing for international contests and conferences. So in this session, we will explore the SPE paper contest and then also the structure of winning paper, how to design impactful slides, how to use proper referencing techniques, and then also practical presentation tips by the end. You would also have a roadmap of how to stand out in the SPE paper contest. So in this presentation, we will take you through the essential components, as I mentioned earlier. So the SPE paper contest is not just a competition. It's a launchpad that gives you exposure that puts you out there globally in the petroleum engineering map. And we are in a field where everyone is obtaining a degree, but these things help you to stand out in your academic journey if you participate in SPE activities. And then one of the SPE activities is the SPE paper contest. So it's at undergraduate, masters, and PhD levels, give students the a platform to showcase their technical expertise. And the regional winners advance the ATC, that's the annual technical conference and exhibition, where they compete internationally before distinguished judges, and many even get their papers published in One Petro, which is one of the journals in SPE. So think of SPC, that's the think of SPE paper contest as your opportunity to place your name on the global petroleum engineering map, as I stated earlier. So at this point, I think I'll hand it over. I'll hand over to me to take us through the next slide. Nee, over to you, please.
Thank you. Good evening. So I'm Niso Alayaji. And as Pakwisi has been saying, the SPC process starts with our abstract submission. So this is where you have an idea about particular research and you hope to work on it. So after working on your research, you have an abstract. An abstract plays a role of kind of a summary of everything you've done during the research stage. So it has a bit of your results, the data that you used, or what you did to perform the experiments and everything. So when you are done with this abstract, you submit it when the SPC portal is open, and it goes through a vetting process by judges. After that, if it's approved, then you get a chance to present at the regional level. And this next year, that will be at the Kenyatta University in Kenya. After the regional presentation is where you get a chance to present your work to an audience and judges. And when you win, that you have to win Africa. If you win Africa, you get a chance to represent Africa at ATC. And that is where you compete with the other regions to find the overall winner for SPC that year. Yeah. Okay, please, next slide. So these are the general rules for the paper contest. So as I already said, the abstract is for the regional level, and it should also be, of course, because of our dispensation that we're in terms of being SPE, it has to be related to petroleum engineering. The abstract length is about 225 to 250, and we'll talk more about how you can easy ways for you to break it down into different sections for you to achieve that number of words. Also, when you get a chance to finally submit, that is if you've won everything. If you win a regional contest and you have to present to ATC, you have to send a full paper. So the minimum paper guideline would be 1,000 words at that stage. Please, next slide.
Yeah, so as I was saying earlier, the SPE Africa SPE Africa Annual Student Congress will take place from 22nd to 24th July at Kenyatta University, Nairobi, Kenya. So this flyer is just a doorway to show you what will happen. But what really matters is how well you prepare the content behind it. So as I mentioned earlier, we are in a field where everyone is obtaining a degree, but taking part in these SPE activities help you stand out. So I think you should take this serious. And after this session, you would understand and know what to do next. So moving on, the next slide is showing essential components of a paper. I think I'll hand over to me for that. Nee, kindly go ahead.
Okay, so for a journal paper structure, that most papers follow a format of IMRAD. That's where you have the I will be your introduction, your M is your methods, your R is your research, and the D is the discussion. So that's also what a journal paper will follow for SPC. The reason why the title has been, there's a story on the title is, in as much as the title plays a very key role in your work, sometimes it's not really included in these essential components. But one of the reasons why it's added here is I feel personally a title should be able to entice the judge or the person who's coming to review your work, because there are a lot of papers that the person is going to work on. But if you have a very good title that has a balance of technical with a punchy this thing, it can help your chances. That's me personally. And an example is one of my favorite papers I read a lot is Attention is All You Need. And it talks about a bit of machine learning stuff. But what that paper does is that every time you hear Attention is All You Need, you're like, why will you name a paper like that? But the title has done its job, and it will bring you towards what you want to learn from that paper. And just because of the title, you just be reading the paper, and by the time you are done, you've read the paper without even convincing yourself I was coming to read the paper. So that's just a bit on the title. There are different examples like introducing, there was another paper called Why Should I Trust You? And it's a very good and technical paper and introduces how you quantify maybe machine learning models and how to understand them. And they could have given a very generic title that everyone would just read and just go by. But a title, especially in this particular dispensation we are in terms of SPC, can help you. So for example, last year, mine was something I coined called LookNet. And LookNet sounds a bit abstract, so maybe you break down the weights. And it's just lithology neural uncertainty quantification network. So it sounds a bit, no one will know about this unless the person decides to read your abstract. And that is what I'm trying to say. So this is the essential component. So after the title, you have your abstract where I've already spoken about it. Then we have our introduction. Then your research methods, that's what you did during your research. You present your results and your discussion, and you have your conclusion. Yeah, Marcus, please, next slide.
Sorry, Nee, I just wanted to add something to the abstract bit. So take it as the abstract is your first handshake with the judges, right? If it's weak, they won't even be motivated to read the rest of your paper. And so your abstract must tell the story, why the research matters, what methods you used, and the main results, and also your key conclusions. Yes, so that's what I would like to add to the slide. Oh, it's already been highlighted here. You can go ahead.
Okay, so now let's talk a bit more about the abstract. So the idea over here is that since, as Marcus already said, is the first impression for reviewers. Sorry, I think you've changed this thing. It's the first impression for reviewers where, as you already said, you have to kind of have a very punchy but also a detailed one that has enough information for the reviewer to know what is going on, what you did for a paper. So first, you have to describe the motivation, your methods, your results, and the conclusion for the work you did. Describe the broad problem that your research seeks to solve. Provide context needed to understand your study. So one of the things I always tell myself is that for your abstract, every sentence has a key part to play. So it might just be a one-liner, but it should be able to tell a lot about what you have done. And with time, I think the next slide or two will show examples of how you can achieve this. Also, one of the okay, so this is the structure of a general abstract that we can use, especially for the paper contest. And this, the other side is the number of words that you can kind of follow to attain that 225 to 450 words. So the first part of an abstract could be our scope or objective. And what this particular side does is that for your scope, it talks about which part of the, let's say, petroleum engineering you're talking about. So if you're talking about maybe flowing bottle pressure, that's your scope, that's what you're focusing on. And you also have to find your objectives. So you have to, formulating your objective is very important because this shows where you are coming in as a researcher, what you aim to achieve, and what we plan to do to achieve this. So just by formulating a very good objective, you find your gap, and you also find what you know you want to use to solve that particular problem. So that should be our maybe 25 to 75 words. Then we have our methods and procedures. So what do you want to do to, which research method are you using to maybe solve this problem? So let's just use an example as machine learning. So you plan on using machine learning methods. So which model are you using? How do you clean your data? Your pre-processing, that kind of stuff. So that's also because methods also gives another person a chance to sit back and look at your work and see what you did to achieve your results. And because of that, it should be detailed and also kind of show whatever you did. So for your result, the next one is your result and observation. So what you observe during the distance. If it's like a lab experiment, your observations, you write them down meticulously. If it's about a machine learning thing that you did, your result from the valuation metrics that you used, you summarize it. You also find a way to visualize it nicely if you're going to use graphs, data charts, anything. One of the key things about SPC importantly is the novel or additive information you want to add. And this is very key because I think when you look at everything over here, it's more like generally that's what's going to be happening in papers. But then if you don't have something new that are going to add in, contribute to the scientific community, then it means your work has just been done already. Like there's a work like that existing already. And because of that, your novelty is very important. So, and your novelty ties into your objective. So this is where you sit down after formulating your objective, that you find a way to solve this objective. And that finding of the way should be novel enough to achieve that goal. And we'll show an example when we get there. Okay, so please, next slide. Yeah, so this is a paper written by Dr. Stephen Ejie with some of our colleagues. And this is going to be an example to show how these four parts of the abstract tie in together into like a simple abstract right now. So in blue, we have our scope or objectives. The methods are the gold or yellow. The red is the result and the novelty. So I'll be reading a bit about it and we'll try and break this part down. So subsurface characterization is fundamental to understanding key reservoir properties such as fluid flow through rock pores. So when you take this first sentence, I think one of the key things I already said is every sentence has a part to play. So when you take this first sentence, when you take this first sentence, the scope of the work has already been kind of shown. You've shown that this is what you want to work on. You want to work on understanding properties for subsurface characterization. Then you talk about what are you talking about? The sub property you're talking about. In this case, it will be the hydraulic flow unit. So that's the second sentence. The concept of hydraulic flow unit is subsurface characterization technique that helps identify zones with similar characteristics. So these first two sentences it talks about your scope. So one gave a general understanding of where we want to put our paper, what our paper is about, a targeted concept, that's the HFU. And now the third sentence is, however, the conventional technique for HFU identification using probability by ranking is not statistically robust and is unsuitable for large data sets. One of what this third sentence does is that it shows the current problem. That is from the current problem that is there already. And that can be said as the first objective. So right now I've identified this particular problem and this is my objective. And I've found out that right now the current probability ranking is not statistically robust. So now that you found this problem, that's your gap. How do I solve this? This is where Doc introduced the method section in the abstract, where they did an RCLA data gathered from 5 selected wells from Subay Basin oil fields in China. And the data, so this is where you do a bit of a method. So the data they collected, what it consists of. And now you talk about the models that you use, as your algorithms and stuff that you use in this particular dispensation. So this particular work was based on a machine learning work where there was k-means with autoencoder. And it was also used to also approach a z-score probability. Now, so right now, from our scope, we have just 3 sentences over there, and we've been able to find a flow of information. We've been able to identify known facts. we've been able to identify uncertainties. We've been able to identify our gap in knowledge. And they've also introduced the way they want to do it in their method section. And now they're telling us how much they got as their evaluation metric. And that is in the one in red. And they got a 94% test accuracy. And now the novelty part. So right now, they spoke about HFU. They told us how they did their research, the results section. And now the novelty section is what they did very different. And let me start by reading. So by integrating the Z probability, autoencoder-based k-means approach into HFU prediction using machine learning approaches, subsurface characterization is greatly improved. So their novelty can be summed up into this very simple sentence where we see the Z-score, autoencoder, and k-means being added for the first time, and now there's an accuracy of 94%. So this is what a typical abstract can look like. And the idea is that every sentence has a role to play. And you shouldn't use filler sentences, especially for abstract. Everything should go straight to the point, but should tie in nicely. So you have your scope, and your scope should be able to give you the objectives and the gap you aim to fill, how you approach the problem, your results, and your novelty. Yeah, thank you very much. Accuracy, please, the next slide. So I think this introduction, Accuracy will take it from there. Okay, please can you hear me?
Prakosi says he's unable to unmute.
Okay, Jay, please, it's better now. I think the host gave some restrictions, so yeah. So
Yeah,
on this slide, we talk about the introduction.
All right.
So the introduction, yes, explains why you started the journey. So it defines the purpose and gives your paper sufficient background information. And then in your introduction, you have to explain briefly using appropriate references.
And the objective is that we want to have more participation from Ghana SP session. We want our students to dominate the regional, and we move to Africa. That is our objective this year. So as you go around, as you study, think about your anything that you want to find solutions to. It can be in petroleum engineering, it can be in energy, renewable, solar. Find a problem, try and address it. We are all here to mentor you. So anytime you are stuck, irrespective of your school, this is SP, this is not any school. Reach out to any of the leadership and we'll guide you. So thank you all for joining. Hope to see you in our next webinar for next month. Yes, so we'll hear from the prof, who is the session chair, for his final say, and we are out of here.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. J. And let me appreciate KNUST for being the first to host the first series of activities for the year. Let me also appreciate our speakers. I've really enjoyed the content of the slides and the discussions. I don't know if it's possible to get the slides. I've seen that people were requesting for it. So if it's possible to share the slides with the participants, that would be great. Writing a paper is both a science and an art. So we sometimes appreciate the difficulties that we do have when it comes to writing a paper. So you need to get the knowledge, and that is what exactly they've helped us with today. A bit of the act, but that depends on us. We will now have to make the time and learn how to write. The more I'm confident and used to paper writing. So it will not come easy, but you need to put in that effort. So that with time, that's why we are all here to support. If you are facing some challenges, I believe we will have a second section for this, where it will be more practical. You would have to write something, then we'll see how we can quickly review and shape that paper up for you. The plan is that whatever idea we have or concept we've been working on, even those who have just finished school, you are qualified to submit a paper to SPC. So if you can talk to your supervisors, because you need their permission before you can submit those papers, engage your supervisors, see how best you're able to turn that project work you've done into a technical paper, and let's see what comes out of that. So once again, thank you very much, the academic faculty team. We are so grateful for putting this up. We look forward to getting more of these, and I'm hopeful that the next school that will be hosting our next section will be ready for it. We'll also do well that the next meeting we'll get a link that would last for a very long time. It looks like this one is breaking, so we'll also do our best to make sure we get a link that will last for a very long time. Let me also use this opportunity to apologize. It looks like we have somebody hacking into the call, and we'll advise anytime you join, please do well to join with your name. If you don't, you will not be allowed to come on board. So just pardon us for today. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Prof. A big thank you to our speakers for this insightful presentation, and to all of you for your time and engagement. May what we've learned today inspire you to write excellence and impact international contests and conferences. On behalf of SP Ghana session, thank you once again and have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, Augustine.
Just to add that we are also sorry for the technical hitches. Next time we'll do better. Lessons learned. Thank you, and see you at the next webinar.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh.